What would the summer be without at least one movie review? Even here on the Robert Scott Bell Show, we talk health healing in ways it just doesn't happen anywhere else. But the stuff we do doesn't happen anywhere else. Why? Because Liam Scheff is here, the author of Official Stories. And we've got a spoiler alert on the Batman Rises with the help of Pfizer. Anyway, spoiler alert, this segment on the movie review. Welcome back, my friend Liam.
Hey, good to be back. So we were talking Frank Miller and the resuscitation of Batman in the 80s. Frank Miller wrote a book called The Dark Knight Returns, a series of comic books called a graphic novel now. And this was a very interesting take because Bruce Wayne he's no longer the detective who just beats up some thuggy criminals. I mean, that's what he was in the when he was invented, I guess 40s, 50s, and he's not the 60s version, campy, highly colorful, almost psychedelic, with his enemies being arrayed as sort of gangsters with their malls and their gangs all dressed in the same pinstriped, double-breasted outfits.
Well, and Julie Newmar. Don't never forget Julie Newmar in her heyday.
No. I'll never forget Michelle Pfeiffer as the Catwoman. That left an indelible impression on me. But she was great.
Yes.
In the second Tim Burton movie.
Mm-hmm.
But what Frank Miller did was he said, what would be real here? Let's make this real. If these characters were real, Bruce Wayne would more or less be a psychopath. Because he's not somebody who really cares about justice. He likes beating up the bad guy. Right. He enjoys that more than anything else. And he's not going to stop when they say, please, I'll never do it anymore. He's going to kill bad guys. And he does.
Well, we do have a modern-day context with the Trayvon Martin case in Florida. The whole idea of, did he stand his ground? Was he a vigilante or not? So we see these things reflected in, the outside world, real life kind of context. But I think he takes this Dark Rises night thing well out of this kind of reality into some other place.
Well, the Frank Miller stuff from the 80s. No, I want to say he grounded it in a psychological reality. So if Bruce Wayne comes out of retirement, and not in the new movie, but in the Frank Miller comic, comes out of retirement, he's a battered, beaten hulk of a man, and he can't rest because he hasn't beaten up, and there's crime, and it bothers him psychologically. That's just who he is. So he puts the stuff back on, his military-grade hardware, and he goes out and he beats the crap, kills a lot of these bad guys, and really starts a kind of revolution against crime. So he takes all the punks and thugs and he turns them into sort of his army. Superman appears in The Dark Knight Returns, not the new movie. In The Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel from the 80s, and he is what you'd expect him to be. He's a CIA agent. He's performing the duties of the American government overseas, and Batman ridicules him. He's like, you're owned and bought and operated by. You're not fighting anything. You're fighting for essentially what Smedley Butler said. You're fighting for the benefit of the Dole Fruit Corporation or the United Fruit Corporation or Blackwater or whoever we're trying to get overseas. That's what you're doing. So this graphic novel makes some interesting points. Now, Christopher Nolan came along, I want to say about 10 years ago, and made Batman Begins, then The Dark Knight, now The Dark Knight Rises. And Batman Begins was a fascinating movie that took the old sensei student Shaolin training idea between Christian Bale or Bruce Wayne and Liam Neeson and inverted it so that at the end, not only does the student have to outdo the master, he actually has to kill him because the master is evil. And the student didn't quite get that.
Well, and in the fact that he actually didn't, I guess in a comic book fairyland, say, oh, no, I can't kill this guy. He actually did him in, which is more true to the original character.
And it's true to vigilantism. You can't, Batman as a character, again, is a dark spirit. He's not, the devil. He's a devil, though. I mean, he's a malevolent character with horns on his head. And he dresses in all black. He jumps out of the night, so he can't be seen. Now, in this new movie, and here's the spoiler part, so if you're very sensitive to this, my feeling about spoilers is they don't exist. Either the movie holds your interest from moment to moment or it doesn't. So if I tell you, Strawberry Shortcake is Luke Skywalker's father or whatever, you go, what? No, you ruined it. No, it should be the telling that gets you there.
Right.
And in that second Star Wars movie, written by Lawrence Kasdan and Lee Brackett and directed by, the name escapes me right now, but a good director from the 70s, a humanistic director, that second Star Wars movie called The Empire Strikes Back is better than all of the rest of them. It's actually a good movie, and it plays with Jungian archetypes, and it's a very interesting movie. Anyway, back to The Dark Knight Rises. Batman is retired for 8 years. He's sort of a little worn of it. He's used up. He has to come back because there's an evil guy. He's rising. His guy's called Bane, and he has a mask on. Right, a machine, a cyborg mask. So he's like a Darth Vader character. Can't quite live without the machine. This is one of the ongoing tropes or idioms of the modern world from Metropolis on. Man, machine, man, machine. When you get too into the machine state, you lose something. But Batman's part machine. He's in military-grade hardware. He's driving the Batmobile. He's flying the flying Batmobile. He's got the Bat Cycle. All this stuff is going on. So you're not getting man versus machine anymore. What is Batman, though? He's Bruce Wayne, millionaire industrialist. What does that mean? It means he makes weapons. Mm. He is the military-industrial complex. His bombs, his machinery are blowing up children in Fallujah. And if you think that's too hard a point that I'm driving home, watch that Iron Man movie. He goes over to ostensibly Afghanistan or Iraq and blows up some bad guys. Wait a second. Our teenagers are going up there blowing up a lot of people. And if you want to see the collateral damage, this is what I don't quite get. Christopher Nolan spent $250 million making this movie, restaging a Hand-to-Hand combat on Wall Street. They actually filmed it on Wall Street. Does that tell you anything? That's where our mind is. Wall Street's where what? The Twin Towers blew up. We keep going back to tell the story because the story's not finished. There's something that happened there. We're not being honest with ourselves about it. Christopher Nolan spends $250 million. We spend trillions of dollars blowing up things in Afghanistan. Does anybody remember why?
Well, remember in the first film, I think we had talked a little bit off the air about this, where he's driving his tank across the tops of cars or down, destroying things right, left, and center, but you don't see anybody dying. It's sort of similar to what happens in Afghanistan, where the media is complicit and shows this clean war, where you don't really see the results of it, even though we know the stats. We've covered them here. So in many ways, he is playing as if he's a tool of the military-industrial complex. I mean, heck, it cost, what, $250,000 to make?
A quarter million dollars. A quarter of...
billion.
250, a quarter of $1 billion.
Wow.
A quarter of $1 billion to make a movie. So in the end, Batman, Bruce Wayne, again, spoiler thing, he's very much beaten by this guy, Bane. I think he breaks his back. That's what happens in the comics. So what's the big secret? He then has to come back, and you see it all in the previews, by the way. And some people who have a lot of free time and I think a great amount of editing skill have taken the previews apart and put them together in sort of 6-minute versions of the movie. So in case you don't feel like seeing the movie, you can go to this and watch it on YouTube. No, I'm not trying to take money out of Christopher Nolan's pocket. He's going to make his money back and more, because people want to see war.
$1 billion, won't they? There'll be $1 billion spent on this.
It'll make $1 billion, yeah. I guarantee it'll make $1 billion worldwide, because the plot doesn't really matter. The spectacle matters, and you can sell it anywhere in the world because the dialogue doesn't matter. You just overdub it. It's not like a movie which has dialogue which is emotionally riveting and hard. It's just scene after scene of either violence or violence.
Yes.
And in the end, there's a big cataclysm on Wall Street, and they end up getting into a street fight, even though they both have military-grade helicopters and weapons and guns and everything else. They all end up fighting each other with
That's
fists.
What they do in war. They drop their weapons, and they go in for some MMA hand-to-hand combat. Don't you know?
And that's the end. I think that looks to be the end of the movie. Now, I'm not, That's what they're showing, and that's how it goes. So
I've heard rumor that the Transformers come in at the last second, and oh man, it's just a mishmash. Liam Neeson is my guest. Oh wait, did I say that? Is that Liam Neeson or Liam Scheff?
I have a very special set of skills.
He's got a very special set of skills indeed. You know, the movie I wanted to see is Batman or any of these so-called superheroes going over to Egypt and pelting the Hillary Clinton brigade with GMO tomatoes, which would really happen the last couple of days in Egypt.
That got reported, but every time a child or a family is killed in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, due to... Yes, it's us. Look, it's our money that's going in to fund this warfare overseas. We don't see that, but we're worried and there's going to be outcry that somebody threw tomatoes at the... Give me a break. Now we're going to pay money $15 to $20 to go watch a simulated war. We're a funny species. So I'm not interested in watching this new Batman movie. I'm going to go back and reread Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns and wonder why somebody doesn't make that into a film, but they probably ruin it at the end anyway.
Amazing. Well, there you go. The summer blockbuster movie review. Maybe due to this review, it will be less of a blockbuster. It's not our intent to tell you what to do and go out or not, but the reality is putting it into perspective, I think, is very important because I know I grew up with superhero stuff, too. I love the comic books. I read them as well. And how much of it was manipulation into this military-industrial complex viewpoint to get teenage boys to want to take over the world and destroy things as if through video games like now they're operating drones. Honestly, they're operating drones and they're killing people via video game in real life.
I know. So people go, oh, you guys are so uptight. It's just a movie. It's not just a movie. It's programming. Nobody spends $250 million on just a movie. You shoot just a movie with your handheld camera in the back of in your yard. That's just a movie.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk with Liam Scheff about the official story surrounding the Arab Spring and the pelting of Hillary Clinton's clan, so to speak, with GMO tomatoes. After this, then next hour, we're going to defy the FDA and talk healing with food. Let your food be your medicine. We've got some whey protein that is undenatured. You will be extraordinarily pleased with what it can do. Stand by. Lots more healing.
The Dark Knight versus the FDA.
The Dark Knight versus the FDA. That would
be
the one.
See that.
We're going to see that one, Liam.
Yep.
All right. Stand by. Lots more healing to go on the Robert Scott Bell Show.